Alright, good morning everybody. This is going to be a playthrough of Behold Rome. This is my 18 card, no table needed Civ builder. I am going to try to get through a whole playthrough, but I'm also going to try to talk through what I'm doing. My plan for this video is I want you to get a decent feel for how the game is playing and not just watch me go through the motions and not understand what's going on. So I'm going to try to talk through my decisions, and I'll still try to keep things moving at a decent clip so that we can get through a whole video here. So we've got our 16 Civ cards. I have already shuffled them. I can shuffle them a little bit more too. We oriented them to their starting orientations, noted by the star here. And then behind that, we'll put our nation card. We start on a monarchy. And then we'll put our round tracker card. Now, I have one extra card here that will not be in the base version of the game, but will be in what I'm calling, right now I'm calling it the deluxe version. And that's just a few extra cards that help you save your game. This is 18 cards right here, and you're just gonna have to remember which age you're in, so which third of the game you're in, because you'll keep rotating through this card for all 12 rounds. This card makes it a little easier, just takes that off your mind. You don't have to remember which age you're in, because this will track the age for you. So I'm gonna play with that, and then in the base set, this is gonna be on the hook box. But the other one I think I'm gonna put in a tuck box, which means you're gonna need a place to have the enemy civs or your rival civs represented. You have 4 rival civs you can play against: the Carthaginians, the Celts, the Greeks, and the Egyptians. And I've been trying to decide which one to show you. You know, I might do multiple playthroughs, so I kind of want to show you going for an Empire build. That one's kind of fun. Well, they're all kind of fun, but I like going for Empire because you're trying to get tributaries, and I will explain what that is. So I think we should either go against the Greeks or the Egyptians. I've been having trouble beating the Egyptians, so I think let's go for it. So let's get acquainted with what we're going to have to try to do. They have 62 base points, which is quite a bit. We won't have to worry about this bottom line item because we're going to try our best to get into an Empire nation status, and that applies to the other 3. So it's a little more friendly to playing as an empire. However, these 2 rules up here want you to have a lot of territory wealth. At least this one does. So if you have 11 plus territory wealth in your deck, then there's this lesser scoring condition, but the more challenging scoring condition happens if you have 10 or less wealth in your deck. And so that's 10 minus the number of ship keying icons times 6. So we're really, I'm going to go for this, I think. That's just the more straightforward classic Empire build where you're going all out for tributaries. And I think I'm going to go all out for tributaries and try to keep my eye on how many ship icons I have in my deck. So we will face the Egyptians. I will keep this card nearby. Sorry, sipping coffee this morning. And we'll go ahead and get started. We have our stuff in the back here. We'll draw up our first hand of 5. This might be a challenge for me to not hit my camera and to also do this while looking through my screen. I found my in-hand games a little bit more challenging to play on screen than they are without, but I think it should go okay. So in our hand we have Roman expansion. This is useless to us right now, at least, because this helps us develop cards or conquer regions, but we don't have any resources to spend. Likewise, Cleopatra isn't useful at the moment. Progress is a good card for development, but like I said, we don't have any resources stored. And then the Roman legions, actually they might be kind of handy because you can pay 2 population or degrade a card, so that just means take a card down a level. It's going to be really important for us to get some regions conquered early, because a lot of cards are, or let me put it this way, our best 2 resource gathering cards key off of your controlled regions. So we want to get those as early as we can. I'm going to go ahead and end the turn. There's nothing that I feel like I can do with this hand. This is the least useful card in my hand, Hannibal. And so to end the turn, you can either discard the top card of the deck or any card from your hand. I'm going to go ahead and discard Hannibal. And then after you end the turn, you just draw up to a hand of 5. So what I'm liking is now I have a region in my hand, a Wealth 1 region, which is Africa here. And I have the Roman legions. But I don't have any cards to degrade because if you look, all of these cards are on level 1 right now. So I can see what's coming though. I actually don't know how to say that. The Roman Seleucid War, potentially. But when you degrade this card, you get to store 2 materials. And not only that, it starts on level 4, so you can degrade it. This is, I think there's only 2 cards that don't start on level 1. So what I'm going to figure out what I want is which card to discard. I'm going to discard this card or to end the turn, and now it's a new turn and I have my new hand of 5. So I'm going to play this card for its action, pay 2 population, or degrade a card for conquer 1. So first you pay the costs. The cost was degrading a card. I'm going to degrade this card, and it says when you degrade this card, go ahead and store 2 population. So we'll take that down, or I'm sorry, materials. We'll take that down from 4 to 3. And I'm going to go ahead and store that materials. I could store 2 if I had 2 in my hand to store, but I can't store this one because I played this card. So I'm going to carry out the rest of this card. I paid the cost. Now I get to do conquer 1. This is going to go in the back. Now I have conquered Africa, and then this card gets discarded. So discarding is to the back of the game, but in front of any controlled regions. Regions don't move forward in the deck, but resources do. So now I have 2 cards remaining, and I can see this is the next card coming into my hand. I'm not going to get greedy with trying to conquer regions, so I'm going to discard this one to try to, or to end the turn and get more cards. Now I have my hand of 5. Here is Sulla. He's one of the, sorry about my camera. He's one of the other cards that starts on level 4, so that will be nice to degrade him. And I can see another card that has a degrade cost coming up, so I think I'm going to do that. So I will try my best to save him, put him over here so I remember that. These 2 cards are my good upgrading cards. I like to try to upgrade both of those as quickly as I can, so that might be something that I do. And then this is going to be my best card for getting materials. It says discard a card and store materials equal to controlled region wealth. Well, we only have 1 total wealth right now, which is better than nothing, so I think we're going to try to do that. So how are we going to do this? I think we're going to discard, well, shucks. If I do that, then I won't have all the cards I want. I want to save all these, but I think it's going to be too inefficient to do anything else at the moment, so yeah, we'll do that. We're going to discard Julius Caesar. So we're going to play this card. We're going to discard Julius Caesar to pay the cost. Okay, the cost is taken care of. Then we get to store materials equal to controlled region wealth, which is 1. You can store the played card. You can't store cards that you discarded, degraded, or upgraded. Okay, so now we have 2 materials, and I would like to, what I'd like to do is play one of my development cards to develop the other. But I don't think I'm going to get to do that because I really want to have this card and this card in my hand at the same time. So this, I might end up regretting this, but I'm going to go ahead and discard this card to end the turn and then draw up to a hand of 5. All right, looking pretty good here. So I have 2 stored materials and 1 controlled region I'm going to play this card. Degrade 2 to develop a card. So I have to take cards down a total of 2 levels. I could spread that across cards if I had more than one, but I'm going to devote both of them to this card. I have no use for Sulla. I know I'm going for an Empire build, and you can see he scores off of being a Republic anyway, and I'm hoping to move beyond Republic. So I will degrade Sulla 2. I will take him down 2 levels from 4 to 2, and now he has become the Senate. Well, so that would have gone from 4 to 3, so that would have been Pompey, and then taking him down another level. Now I have the Senate. So I paid the cost of that card, and now I get to develop a card. I'm going to discard this one since I played it, just so I remember to do that. And I can't develop this card because I just messed with it by degrading it. So I can develop one over here. Definitely I'm going to do this red one. This is a card that lets me develop other cards, and I really like having that around. So what am I going to do next? Those materials are burning a hole in my pocket. I want to make sure that I spend them before the end of the round too, because this is my best way to get materials, and if I wait until the round changes over, then it's going to be a whole other round before I get to see that again. So I want to make sure I spend that right away. So I'm going to play this card. Discard a card, then pay up to 2 materials, developing 1 for each. Yeah. Not as useful as I was actually kind of hoping. Because, well, what you're not seeing is, so I could bring City of Rome up to level 2, and then if I spent it again, it would be level 3. But the problem is, this blue banner here, that means I can only play it if I'm in advanced nation status, and I'm currently red. I'm currently ancient nation status, so I wouldn't be able to play that. So I could take City of Rome up 1 level, and then I could take this card up a level, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. Maybe I am. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. I like having this polytheism around for a while because it helps your momentum, but whatever. We're just gonna do that. So discard a card. We'll discard this one. Then pay up to 2 materials, developing 1 for each. So we'll pay both of these materials. I'm actually going to put this one in front. So both those are spent. This was my played card. That gets discarded as well. And then we get to develop 2. So I'm going to take both of those up from level 1 to level 2. Great. Now we decide if we want to end the turn or what we want to do. I think I'm going to discard the top card to end the turn. We would refill to a hand of 5, but we have hit round end, so we don't get to keep drawing for now. And we're not ready to develop yet. The development cost is stated for these. You don't develop your nation card like you develop other cards. You have to pay the specific cost. So I would have to abandon 1 region, which would be discarding a region we own, and paying 1 materials. So we don't even have any materials, so we couldn't develop if we wanted to. And I want to hang on to my controlled region so that I have a little bit of an engine going into next round. Let us... I'm going to discard Cisalpine Gaul there to move on to the next round. So go from round 1 to round 2. We are still in age 1. And I get to continue refilling my hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are in round 2 of 12. I'll try to keep going as fast as I can so I can get through a play test here. Okay. I think, yeah, let's get a little tricky here. I think I would like to use the Glory of Rome here. Degrade a card or discard 2 cards to develop a controlled territory. that sounds pretty good. I'm going to discard, let's say, I kind of want to keep Roman legions around in case I can upgrade it later, and also when I want to store materials, it has materials available. So I'm going to discard these 2 cards, and then discard the played card. This is the only card in the game that lets you develop a controlled region, so I'm going to take this from level 1 to level 2. And the reason I wanted to do that is now my engine is a little bit better. This is a Wealth 2 region. There are also rarely some cards, I believe Trajan is the only one. He keys off of getting you materials based on those bag icons that you have in controlled territories. But I'm not counting on that. I'm actually going to not be upgrading to Trajan if my plan comes together properly. So I'm not going to do anything with... Actually, let's discard Syria to end the turn. Okay, we're back up to 5. We need to somehow get some materials. We have no cards to degrade. I'm not liking that bit at all. So I'm going to go ahead and discard Hannibal to end the turn. Draw up the Senate. There's the card I'm looking for. So, right, we don't really have a use for the Senate right now because I'm not... Population usually feeds conquering, and materials usually feed developing. So, okay, I just did that to end the turn. That means I get to finally draw my grain card here. So discard a card, store materials equal to controlled territory wealth. I will discard Julius Caesar. And I have 2 controlled territory wealth. So I'm going to store the played card and another card. All right. You can see that was a little bit more efficient than last round. I don't know why I'm hanging on to this card. Actually, that's not the worst thing in the world. Let's discard Cleopatra for now to end the turn. And we'll draw up to 5. Nothing that we really wanted here. So we could go up a level. I'm not feeling the urgency to do so because this isn't really hurting me yet. I don't have any blue banner cards in my Civ right now, and I also have 2 cards that have the monarchy symbol. It's a little hard to see. Cisalpine Gaul and Julius Caesar can only be played if I'm the monarchy. So I'm going to hang on to that for now, and I'd prefer to spend my materials on developing cards. So I am going to discard, I believe, Macedon to move on. So we will move to the next round. We are still in Age 1. Tidy up a bit here. Okay. We get to draw up to 5. Sure, we might be planning to conquer a little bit, so store population equal to the number of controlled territories. Not territory wealth, but just the flat number. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can only store 4 cards in your resources area and 4 controlled territories at once, so we're good for now. All right, I have my 2 materials. I think I'm going to use them. I'm going to discard I'm going to play this progress card. Discard a card, then pay up to 2, developing 1 for each. Let's go ahead and discard. Oh, I'm a little bit torn. I think we'll go ahead and discard Cisalpine Gaul. And we'll pay both of our materials. And And we played this card, so I'm going to get rid of that so I don't forget. All right, now we have 2 development. Okay, so I'm a little torn because this is my tax policy here, and that could be an alternate way to get materials. So what I'm torn about is, where do I want to gain some more options? Do I want to improve my odds of getting materials, improve that engine a little bit, or do I want to improve my efficiency at spending materials that I do get? I think I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this to low taxes and then high taxes. And that's going to be my alternate source of materials. Okay. I'm going to discard the top card to end the turn. Now I'm back up to 5 cards. All right, so this is a great card. Degrade a card or discard 2 cards to develop a controlled territory. What I'm a little torn about, if I develop Africa further, up to level 3, it becomes Africa Proconsularis, so however you say that, and it's a wealth 4, which is spectacular as long as I continue to hang on to it, because then if I would abandon it at some point, sorry for bumping my camera, I would need to have either a plan to upgrade it all the way to the tributary, or have a way to defeat a 4 wealth region, and I just don't have the firepower for that right now. I don't really have a good engine for getting population, and my Legion card is not very upgraded. So I'm not sure I'm going to play that right now. I'm not sure. Shucks, maybe I'll do it anyway, because I have plenty of level 1 regions out there yet. All right, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and discard. Oh, this one has a special rule. You can't discard it to pay other action costs. Well, maybe I won't play it after all, because I really want to hang on to both this card and that card. Okay, so let's do something different. This says discard up to 2 cards to store 2 materials or 1 population for every card so discarded. Let's do that. I'm going to discard Syria to pay the cost. And then I'm going to store these 2 cards as materials. And then that was the played card that's going to get discarded. Okay. I want to keep this card, so I'm going to discard the Senate to end the turn. And we'll draw up to our hand of 5. Okay, we have hit round end. Alright, well, I could discard a card and pay 2 materials to do some upgrading here. I have no use of Augustus yet, although Mark Antony would be quite useful. So we're going to discard Macedon for now. I'm going to stay in Monarchy for a little bit. We'll see if that ends up paying for us. We are into round 4. And we have run into a stored resource. You can tell I'm being inefficient. We just simply take that into our hands, our hand. Okay, I'm going to straighten up a bit here. Here we go. I like seeing this right away. It's been a minute since we've seen that card. Okay, you know what? It's not every day that you get to upgrade this grain card, which is going to improve our efficiency at getting materials, so I am going to wait to play this until I have that in hand. And this might be silly because I didn't use it last time, but I'm going to go ahead and play that card to store it as population, thinking that I'm going to store, or I'm going to conquer something. I kind of want to conquer Syria, so I don't mind if I discard that card. And so I might do that. I'm going to discard that card to end the turn. mainly because I want to get my grain card in hand. Okay, and there's the legions too. I don't mind that at all. So we're going to play this card, discard a card, pay up to 2 materials, developing 1 for each, but it must be on different cards. That's the stipulation there. So we'll go ahead and discard Julius Caesar. He's just going to chill out for a while, so he's good. Then we will pay both these cards, both the materials, to keep our population for now. And then I'm going to discard the played card. Okay, so we discarded 2 materials and we get to upgrade or develop 2. Definitely want to develop grain, and I believe I want to start taking my Roman legions up, because as we start developing our territories here, we're going to want to make sure we have the firepower to actually take those on. All right, probably going to go ahead and, oh shucks. I want to play both these cards and I want this card. So this is a little bit inefficient because I still have 3 cards in hand, and I don't want to end the turn just all the time because that's being inefficient, but I think it will pay off in this case. So I'm going to discard Cleopatra for now to end the turn and draw to fill my hand to 5. And what I wanted to happen has happened, so I can pay... Can I afford it? Shucks. So I only have the 1 population. Shucks. I have to pay 2 for Conquer 1. Is there a way for me to get more population? I don't see a way except for, I suppose, that card. Which would mean I would need to waste... I don't see this going the way that I want it to go. Alright, I know for a fact that I want this. Materials are really important to me right now. I want to develop as quickly as I can, so I am going to play this. So I'll discard that card to pay the cost, and then store wealth, or store materials equal to wealth plus 1. So I could store up to 3. I'm not gonna, because I want to keep my legions out for the moment. So I'm just going to store the played card for 2. Is there any way I can get what I want? Ah, there might be. Ah, no. I don't think so. Discard a card, pay up to 2 materials, developing 1 for each. So I still have to discard a card to get that played. So if I want to take my legions up, I'm going to end up having to discard that card. And if I want to use this card to store more population, I would need to discard one of these cards anyway. I really would like to control the Levant, because it's an efficient one to control. When you conquer Syria, degrade it to the Levant before controlling it, which is higher wealth. So I might regret this, but I'm going to discard my high taxes to end the turn. I would like a larger hand size. All right, that is my hand, and consequently we've triggered round N. I'm not going to develop or move on just yet, because I would like to upgrade my Roman legions now. So I'm going to play this card. So discard a card, pay up to 2, developing 1 for each. Oh. Well, we're going to discard Macedon. I'm going to do this either way. And I am going to pay both of those. I have to, they're on the same card. And then I will discard the played card. You can see it kind of is expensive to take cards up, but it's worth it. Now, I get 2 development. I think I'm going to spend it both on the Roman legions. We've taken them up to 4. Now, there's a downside. I have now 4 unrest in my deck. Those are those flame icons, and those are -2 per icon at the end of the game. But only unrest icons over and above your total prosperity. Those are those leaf icons. So if I get enough prosperity, I might be able to cover all my unrest. But not right now. Definitely not right now. Okay, I'm going to play this to conquer Syria. Up to 2 times. Pay 1 population for conquer 2. That will be plenty. So 1 population. Pay the cost. And I get conquer 2. I have a surplus. Doesn't matter, that's just wasted. But when I conquer Syria, degrade it to the Levant before controlling it. Don't mind if I do. However, I need to remember, if you discard or abandon the Levant, you have to degrade it to the Jewish-Roman War. So if we ever would abandon this, we're going to end up with a useless card in our deck and also one that has 3 unrest on it. So discard the played card. So a lot of times I will just be very careful and try not to abandon that unless I have to. We have just 1 card left. That means we're forced to discard that to move on. I have no materials. At this point, I would consider actually developing into the Republic. We're going to have to start making our move pretty soon if we want to make Empire. But not yet. So we are in the mid-game. We have just moved to round 5. So we are in Age 2. Hopefully we can ramp up our activity a little bit. 4, 5. All right. Yeah, this opening hand isn't that great, so I might go ahead and play this. Discard 2 cards to develop a controlled territory. Sure, I think I'm going to go ahead and discard these 2. I can't discard Hannibal, I would love to, but his ability says otherwise, so let's go ahead and discard those 2 to pay that cost. I'm going to discard the played card so I don't forget. And then I'm not going to develop the Levant because that actually takes it to a lesser value. But I am going to make that move and upgrade Africa. And that is now a level or a wealth 4 region for us. Okay, now I will discard Hannibal to end the turn. We will draw up our hand of cards. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. So I want to use my high taxes to store materials. But Cleopatra is the only materials in my hand, and I can see this coming, which is going to be kind of a windfall. So I want to try to stack my hand with as much available materials as possible, and you can see Cleopatra is my only available materials right now. I can tell you I'm going to probably basically ignore conquering regions right now, or at least for this round, so I will discard this card to end the turn. And fill my hand to 5, which gets this card into my hand. Alright. Alright. Some interesting decisions. I'm going to discard Roman expansion. So this is like your versatile card. It helps you with development or conquering, but it's a little bit less efficient at each. I'm apparently specializing this game, so I'm going to discard that to play this card. And I could store up to 4, 5, 6, 7, but I'm only going to store 3 because that's all I have. So we'll go ahead and slot those in our stored resources area. That's still all right. That's still all right. Okay. Another decision to make here. I want to upgrade that card, but I also really feel like I should start upgrading those 2. So I'm going to sacrifice this one. I'm going to play this to end the turn. I couldn't have everything I wanted there. That's too bad. And I will gather up my new hand of 5. And definitely I'm going to play this. So I'm going to discard Roman legions. I know that's coming later then in the round, next round. And pay up to 2, developing 1 for each. So I'm going to pay, shucks. I know this was on level 1. Don't drop the cards, everybody, unless you can remember what level they were on. So I'm going to pay up to 2, developing 1 for each. So I will go ahead and play that card. That's nice, because then I'll see it next round. Didn't carry it over. Discard the played card. You can't develop the played card. So I think I'm going to spend it both on this technology card here. So from weaponry to Roman concrete up to aqueducts. Now we're talking. I don't have any discard costs here, which is what I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah. Oh, shucks. I think now is the time to go ahead and upgrade or develop my... Is it, though? Is it time? I can't decide. Because what I'm running into is I would really like to improve this card, but like I said, we're going to get into some blue banners, and I can't play those yet. Let's go one more round before we start upgrading or developing our nation. So we discard that to move on. Now we are in round 6, exactly halfway done. Let's fill our hand. All right, we have the 1 stored material. This card doesn't do us any good anymore because everything is maxed out over here. What would be nice is if I could conquer like one of these level 1s. I think I'm going to do a little trick though. Store population equal to number of controlled territories. So I will do that. It didn't have any other costs associated with it. And then, since I'm still a monarchy, I can play this card for its effect, or for its action. Pay 1 population to store 2 materials. I think I'm going to do that. So I'll play that card. Well, I got to pay the cost first. That 1 population I just got to store 2 materials. So storing happens last. So I'll discard the played card. And then I'm going to go ahead and store my 2 materials. That is the most use I'm going to get out of those cards this round anyway. So fantastic. We have 3 stored materials, which will make this action that much more efficient. So I'll discard the top card to end the turn. And we'll fill our hand up to 5. Oh, bummer. So you are always allowed to stop before taking the last card in front of a stored resource so that you don't end up having to take that resource into your hand. Which would leave me with spending this card and one of these materials to upgrade Macedon, and I don't really want to do that. I'm not ready for that. So, unfortunately, I'm going to really waste some efficiency by taking that material into my hand. Okay, not what I wanted, but... Alright. Now, though, I think I'm ready to play this card. So, pay up to 3 materials, developing 1 for each. I'm going to pay these 2, the 2 that I have. And then discard the played card. And then go ahead and develop. I might regret that I did this later, but I'm going to take high taxes up to confiscation. So many. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to do it yet because it's got that blue banner. Lots of unrest on that. I want to do that though because it's another great source of materials. For now, I'm going to upgrade Cleopatra to Mark Antony. He's good for a quick conquer action, which I am interested in, and then we'll start upgrading this versatile Roman expansion card. Okay? And that's actually going to be some good synergy. So discard up to 2 cards to store 2 materials or 1 population. I'm going to go ahead and discard. Maybe not. Shucks. Fine. I'm going to conquer Macedon. That's my plan. So I'm going to discard. I'm going to play this card. So I'll discard that to pay the cost, and then I will store. Actually, yeah, I will store that card. I got to make sure I play that right away, though, so I can get it next round. And then this is going to seem kind of weird to not use this one, but Mark Antony can do it for me, so I'm just gonna do it right away. Pay 1 population for conquer 1. So I'll pay that population that I just got. Discard the played card, and then conquer 1. We now control Macedon. Look at that. Look at our growing empire. Well, monarchy. Okay, I have no cards in hand, which means I have to discard the top card to end the turn. And I will draw up my hand of 5, except I ran into the nation card. And I still can't upgrade unless I can get materials or develop, because I don't have any materials. Okay, I'm starting to hang on to the past a little too long here. But I'm just going to move on. I'm going to discard my Senate card. I don't need population right now. We're going to move on again. We're hanging on to monarchy for another round. I'm going to need like a big rush at the end here to do what I want to do. So we're in round 7. I'm not feeling confident I'm going to score well. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. Okay. Let's... What would be great is if I could get that card up. So I'm just going to start moving through my deck and try to get some cards next to each other that are more useful and synergistic. So I'm going to discard Cisalpine Gaul. I'm just in no need to conquer anything else. So actually, why don't I do that little trick I did last time? Store population equal to the number of controlled territories. Well, I don't have near enough population to do that anyway, but there's my 1 population stored. I will go ahead and play Cisalpine Gaul to convert that 1 population into, shucks, 1 material, because I'm not going to waste that on that. Why am I doing that? I'm undoing all of that. It's a solo game. I can undo all that. This is going to get me a windfall anyway. So we're just going to discard City of Rome for now. We can't upgrade that anyway. To get Caesar into our hand. And yeah, discard a card to store materials equal to wealth +1. So I'll discard Cisalpine Gaul. And we're going to store... You can store as many cards as it takes. Up to 4 maximum. Whoopsie. Hold my camera there. Sorry about that. Try to get that recentered. Up to 4 maximum. So that's nice. We have 4 stored. I want this in my hand because I want to upgrade it. So I'm going to discard the Glory of Rome to end the turn. And then get up to 5 cards. I will tidy up my hand a little bit. Okay. Really, I should make sure I save one of these materials so that I can develop at the end of the round. For now, I'm going to play aqueducts, so pay up to 3, developing 1 for each. I will pay 3, developing 1 for each. So now is the question. Well, we'll discard the played card. For sure I'm going to do this, so that's 1. I think I want to take this up to confiscation, but I'm not there yet. Okay, never mind. That's 2. And then 3, right? I think that was right. I don't think I cheated, because I think this was on level 2, correct? I think that was right. So, okay, that concludes that action. Hopefully I didn't cheat there. I don't think I did. I think that was on level 2. I was too focused on the decision of I don't want to take that up to confiscation yet because it's got a blue banner. And I have a little bit of ways to go before I am an empire. Okay, alright. I want to store more materials. So let's discard this card to play our tax card. I'm going to discard the played card. And that lets me store 2 materials. I like that. That's another thing Mark Antony is good for, is he has those 2 materials available. I want to hang on to that. So we will discard the Roman legions to end the turn. Should be hitting the end here. Yep. Okay. Definitely, yes, we're going to develop our nation this time. So develop, abandon 1 region, and pay 1 materials. I'm going to abandon Macedon. Like I said, that's valuable to hang on to, and also it's harder to conquer next time. And then we will pay 1 material, and we'll go from a monarchy to a republic. So if we were to stay on the republic, one of our money makers at the end would be getting prosperity to score off of that, but we're going to try to move on from this to empire. So we're going to need to abandon a total of 3 territory wealth. We could do that now, but you can only develop once per round. So I think we will be abandoning Africa next time, which is great. So this round, since we know we're going to be developing into a blue nation status, I can start thinking about taking some cards up to a blue banner status, because a lot of those cards, they turn into blue banners at higher levels. But for now, we'll discard the Senate to move on. We are in round 8, still age 2, but it's the last round of age 2. And let us fill our hand. That's 4, 5. All right. This is great. I have 2 materials, so I'm going to play this, pay 3 materials, developing 1 for each. Discard the played card. And then I really am excited to take this up. Now we are at max level for this. We are into textiles, and we have those 3 materials up there. This is great. Okay. I can just see that I'm not gonna, we'll just keep going. I don't think I'm doing that well. I'm gonna end the turn. And we'll play our textiles card, and the question will be, how many of these do I want to store? So store equal to 2 times total controlled wealth, which is a large number. So we're not limited by that. We are instead limited by the number of available materials in our hand. I'm going to take all these. We're just going to try to do as much developing this round as we can. So we could have stored up to 12, amazingly, but we only had 3, 4, 5 to store. So the trade-off there is now we can't upgrade either of those, but that's the way it goes. And unfortunately for City of Rome, I don't really want to upgrade it yet. So I will end the turn. I just think there's more valuable cards to start upgrading. Okay, we have plenty of materials in the tank. What cards do I want to start upgrading, and when is it time to do that? Right. I'm going to want to start getting these region cards up because I need tributaries to score well as an empire. And if you recall, we either need a lot of territory wealth or we need a lot of ship icons. And some of those ship icons are buried in those tributaries. Take another sip of coffee here. So yeah, let's just do it. Let's pay 3. Make sure we're not wasting any from that card. Discard the played card, and now we can develop 3 in our hand. I want these high taxes. Now we can't play this card this round, but we'll have it for next round. And then let's take Roman expansion up to level 4, and then we'll take Macedon up to Greece. Part of the reason is it has a red banner. We couldn't conquer it then as soon as we move up to an advanced nation status. Nice part about Greece, it only costs 2 to conquer, but it's got 3 wealth. All right. 2 materials left, but nothing else to do in our hand. This is useless to me this round. I'm going to discard that and end the turn. I can just see I'm going to have an unrest problem at the end of this game. All right. This is a good example of suboptimal play. If any of you were wondering how to play this game somewhat poorly, I'm happy to oblige. All right, I am going to take us up to Empire. So before I do anything else, I'm going to, well, are there any cards I want to play before I do that? No. So I will abandon Africa and take us up to Empire. All right. It would cost us 4 wealth, abandoning 4 wealth to get up to Theocracy. We're not going for Theocracy though. We're going to stick with Empire, so we're going to try to optimize around that, and we're going to try to start getting tributaries, 7 points per tributary. It's hard to score well on Empire if you don't do that. And like I said, some of those ship icons are buried in those tributary levels, and most of those tributaries come from the upper levels of the region cards. But the trick with tributaries is you have to abandon one region in order to develop into a tributary. So we're going to also need to focus on getting some of those. Yeah, you kind of got to eat into your own engine in order to do that, because we got to get some conquered in order to get some developed into tributaries. And I'm not sure we're gonna get close enough, but we're gonna try. What can I do right now? Can I conquer that? I don't have any population. Can I get population? Yeah. Discard 1 card to store 1. Well, heck. I can do that. So I'm going to play the Senate, discard 1 card to store 1. I don't want to drop these. Population, so I will discard Caesar. And then I will store this card itself. And then, up to 2 times, pay 1 for conquer 2. That's what we're going to do. So we'll pay that population we just stored. We will discard the played card. And like I said, Greece only costs conquer 2. So, wonderful. Look at that. Proud owners of Greece. And so my plan is going to be to try to start upgrading into tributaries, and we'll end up abandoning Greece. But we'll play this, or we'll discard it to move on. We have precious few rounds left to try to get done what we need to get done. So going from round 8 to round 9 takes us into age 3. So 4 rounds left. We can do it. We can do it. Ah, shucks. Do I want to stop? Because that loses me both of those. Yeah, I want to stop. Because I can't play Mark Antony anyway. So instead of drawing my full hand, I'm stopping before having to take that into my hand. Because I don't want those 2 materials to go away. That would be a waste. So I'm going to play this and I guess take Mark Antony all the way up to the Egyptians. And you know what? That's actually great because it's got the 2 ship icons and it's going to help our scoring. Because you remember the Egyptians, they like it if you have the ship icons. So, well, they don't like it. I like it against them. So yeah, I spent my 2 materials to do that, but I also, to upgrade from something else into a tributary, which are these purple cards, you need to abandon a region. So there goes Greece. We let Greece go in our ambition to make the Egyptians a client state. It has its own effect, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And I am a blue banner now. I got to remember that. I'm an advanced nation, so I can't play red. So somebody call me out if I play a red card right now, such as this one. I can't even conquer cards that are red, but I can play the blue ones. Oh, and this was the played card, so that goes away. I'm gonna hang on to this. I think no, I'm gonna get rid of that to move on, or to end the turn. Right. Store equal to 2 times controlled wealth. Yeah, I don't see any other materials coming my way soon, so we'll go ahead and do that. Any available materials, that is, up here. So that's good. Do we have anything to upgrade with? Yeah, so what do we want to do? Yeah, why not? Let's upgrade. Let's do that. I'm going to spend those 3 I just stored. And we played this card, so I'm going to discard that. And we get to upgrade, we get to develop 3. So you might ask, why don't we just upgrade this to North Africa right away? I would love to. However, I don't want to completely eat into my engine. You can see we're getting some good mileage out of having some controlled territories. I don't want to ever go down to 0 right now, because then it takes some tricky business to work your way back up. And also, you're incentivized not to discard the Levant, because it degrades into the Jewish-Roman War. Or abandon the Levant. So, we had 3 to spend. I'm going to spend it elsewhere. Let's take Cisalpine Gaul. Heh. Shucks. Let's take City of Rome up 1. Because I like that scoring. And it's pretty powerful. And we're going to take Cisalpine Gaul up 2. So now it's Gaul and Germania. What's on my mind? Hadrian's Wall. You have to abandon a region to develop into it. But it scores a little bit for Empire, but what I'm really looking at is that prosperity to cover, and it has a rule that gives you additional prosperity for culture icons. So I would love if I had time to get that out to deal with my unrest problem. But we'll see. That's going to take a pretty good effort to get that done. All right. I'm going to go ahead and discard Gaul and Germania to end the turn and draw out my hand. And what have we got? I do need to conquer some. So I could... I'm just going to play this to store 2 population. Yeah, I'm just going to play that card. It doesn't have any costs. So we got our 2 population because I can see my Roman legions are coming and I would like to conquer this Africa Proconsularis. Which means we don't need this card. We could discard that. And I think I will. To end the turn, I'm going to go ahead and play Roman legions. So I get 2 conquer per population I spend. And that is everything I needed. That's the key. That's why you occasionally want to upgrade into the higher level there, even though it's got a lot of unrest. So we got that back. Anything we want to do before we end? I don't think so. Don't think so. I'd like to start leveling Julius Caesar to get away from all that unrest. So we're going to discard the Senate to move on. Getting down to the last few rounds. We're in round 10 of 12, so we have 3 left. We have 1 tributary. And, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. What do we want to do here? We might want to hang on to Greece in order to upgrade into the tributary. So even though I'd like to start leveling that one, we're going to get rid of that to end the turn. Where are my cards at that get me cards? Alright, I had just said I wanted to level past Caesar. I'm going to kick that can down the road. There's my card that I wanted. What's the most efficient way for me to get there? I will discard that card to end the turn and get this. Okay. 2 times total controlled wealth. I'm going to store these 2 cards by playing that card. So now I have 5 to spend. And this lets me pay up to 3. Perfect. Actually, that's perfect. So first we pay our cost, that's 3. Then we're going to discard the played card. We're going to move past this one, partially because of the unrest and partially because it's useless to us anyway. So, no, let's do this first. Let's upgrade Greece to the Greeks' tributary, but we have to abandon a region to do so, which is what it is. And then we had 3 to spend. That was only 1. So we're on level 2. Level 3. Now the question is, philosophy is actually more useful during the game. But Christianity gets us some prosperity. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way up to Christianity. It also has these materials available, which is better for storing. So you can see we need to be a theocracy to actually score points off of it, but it's saving us negative points by having that prosperity. So go ahead and discard this to end the turn. Now we'd like to conquer another region, always with my mind on Hadrian's Wall here, but I think conquering Gaul and Germania would be quite useful. This allows me to store 2 materials, and I don't have materials to store anyway. I'm going to use this to store, I'm going to play this card to store 2 population. You know what wouldn't be a horrible idea is degrading that card later if I have opportunity. That wouldn't be the worst idea. Okay, that gives me the population that I need for my legions to conquer Gaul and Germania. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's move on to the next turn. So discard that to end the turn and draw up to my hand of 5. This is my last hand of the round. Yeah, let's conquer that. So I will play the Roman legions. We'll discard those. That would generate 4 conquer for me. I'm going to go ahead and discard the played card. And then we get to take control of Gaul and Germania. That's great. That's great. What do we have left? We have 2 materials, so I could upgrade these. But I want to end on the Senate. I like that prosperity, so we're just going to go ahead and move on. We are entering round 11. In age 3. Whoops, I forgot to update this, didn't I? We are actually in age 3. We can draw up our hand. I'm going to stop so I don't draw that into my hand. I don't want to waste those. So I know I'm going to spend that on something. We'll go ahead and pay those. Discard the played card. This lets us develop. And we get to develop 2. This one needs no developing. And what's going to be the most profitable here? This is just -3 VPs, but he takes an extra materials to upgrade away. However, it would be nice to have another region out to be conquered. This, I'm not sure if this is the right move or not. Well, crap. Also, I'm thinking about the ships. Carthage can give you a bunch of ships, but I don't think I have the North Africans conquered yet. So just upgrading to Carthage would be quite useful. But I have all of that unrest. Thing is, both of these cards need to be developed to get them to the next level. So I'm going to spend my 2 to upgrade this one because he takes an extra 1 to develop. So that's that. Okay. I'm gonna discard Julius Caesar to end the turn. And I'm going to go ahead and play that card, I think. Yeah, I think I need to. Oh, I could use this to store a population. I think I'm going to do this first. Use that to store a population. And then I'm going to play Roman expansion, pay up to 2 materials for conquer 1 each. Well, or I'm sorry, population. So I will spend that population that I just got, play Roman expansion for the first time this game, and then go ahead and... Oh, I can't do that. Because Carthage is red, I can't do that. I'm going to undo a couple of turns here then. A couple of actions. Okay, so that's out the window. But I want this to be out because I like those ships. And that's going to save me like, what, 12 points? So I want that out. So let's just keep slowly inching our way forward, I think. That card is unfortunately useless right now, but will be profitable in scoring. So this is the one we're going to want to conquer, but we're going to want 2 population and not just 1 for that. Which makes this card relatively useless at the moment, so go ahead and discard that. And this is kind of what I've been waiting for. I'm going to store materials equal to twice controlled territory wealth. Well, we have 5, so we could store up to 10, which we don't have available, but we do have 6 available. And I'm actually quite excited about that. That's a pretty big windfall. So we have 6 materials available. And I know I want to take the North Africans up to tributary, but I don't want to. That's only 1 development, so I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to discard this to end the turn. And right, so can I get 2 population? I sure can. So I'm going to play this card to get the 2 population, and then I'm going to play this and spend it right away. So there's our 2 population. That's the cost paid. Discard the played card. And now we get to conquer Africa again. It's back in our hands. Also worth noting, at the end of the game, your controlled territory wealth, you get to take this in points, which is not insignificant sometimes, especially because I've kind of got a lot of controlled wealth right now. So that's worth considering, but I'm really invested in getting more tributaries and getting more ship icons. So let's try to keep working that angle. Store equal to the number of controlled territories. I don't think I want this right now. So we'll go ahead and, well, discard that. That's fine. And then I'll discard this to move on. And we are in, what, the last round? Round 12. Let's make something happen. I would love to get both Hadrian's Wall and the North Africans. Those are my hopes and dreams. Let's see if it can happen. I'm not all that excited that I've seen both of my developer cards right away, because now that's going to take up some room in my hand. But I'm gonna go ahead. I have basically all of the materials that I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and discard this one to keep moving. And I don't think I'm gonna be, whoops. Uh-oh, I don't want to keep moving. Oh no. No, no, no. I didn't realize those were gonna be coming so soon. Okay. Okay, so this is sitting right in front of my stockpile of materials, so I gotta at least spend some of it. Oh, what a waste! What a waste! Okay, we'll take Caesar up. You know, we could take Carthage up, but we need the North Africans first, and we don't have the North Africans. So to develop into the Carthaginians, you need the North Africans. Oh, but that would be so great. Right, we don't have the North Africans. I'm going to, you can look ahead if you can't remember. Oh, they're up here. Oh, shucks. That was kind of a misplay. Because those being up here, there's no way to get those back into this round. If I discard them, they would be in the next round, but there is no next round. So I need to optimize as best I can. So 100% we're going to have to get into, see, if we were going to score optimally against the Egyptians, we should have gotten the North Africans out, because that's a precondition to getting the Carthaginians out, and there's 3 ships there. But we do have the 2 ships here, so I can't touch this. Wow. So let's play this card. We'll pay 3 of these. And that will go to the back. And let's start developing. We know we want Caesar up, so that's 1. And I don't mind that scoring ability. Do we want to take him to Augustus? Maybe? Or I'm sorry, Trajan. I want to take Augustus to Trajan. That's kind of a big swing in prosperity to... I think I want to do that though. So that's 2. And then 3. Let's take that up to level 4. This should hopefully get us some more points then. All right. So you are useless to me. I'll discard you to end the turn. 4. Yeah, shucks. 5. So abandon any number of regions to develop or degrade equal to their total wealth. That's an interesting prospect. I might hang on to that card for that reason. Huh. I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to keep moving on here. I'm going to go ahead and discard that one as well. So what's in my mind here? What do we have left? Not that many cards. Is Hadrian's Wall out here too? Oh, that's a big bummer. So Hadrian's Wall would be here. We are going to have an unrest problem. So here's what I'm thinking. It would be nice to take confiscation down to high taxes. To avoid some of that unrest. And so this Christianity card, abandon any number of regions to develop or degrade equal to their total wealth. We really got to want that. So I would probably abandon Gaul to use one of that for degrade here. And I don't really have anything else I can take up. I don't have a use for Constantinople. I don't have a use for Fall of Rome. Shucks, I'm not sure what to do. Keep moving on. Because this is still worth points to me if it's controlled at the end. Oh man, this could be... let's math it out here. So that's 3 that I would be missing out on, but it would potentially save me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 points. So trading 3 points for 10, I'm also losing out on this scoring rule. Let's say I would get like 4 points from it, maybe 5 or a 6. So at that point, 10, at that point, it's roughly equal in terms of, unless I can develop a card to get more points out of it. Now, I don't think that's going to get me more points. I think that's going to get me more points, so I'm a little bit bummed. I think we're just going to have a huge unrest problem. Because look at that. Look at those two. Well, maybe I could downgrade from both of those. How about that? Heck, let's do it. Why not? So we're going to play this card. We're going to have the opposite of progress here. We're going to abandon Gaul and Germania. I know, the people aren't going to like that. And we're going to degrade each of these, which is going to help my unrest problem a lot. And then I would have one more, but I mean, I could degrade Trajan down to, yeah, why not? So we're using this, one of our last turns here, to degrade 3 cards. I honestly don't see anything else I'm going to be able to do. There's no more territory to conquer. There's no room to upgrade to get stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and discard my last couple hands here. And that's the end of the game. So, fast players, without talking through it, I guarantee you could get through a game in 45 minutes, maybe a half hour, but usually takes me close to an hour. All right, so we're going to score us first, and I'm going to try to make this not annoying, because I'm going to have to use the calculator on my computer because I'm recording with my phone right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, let's do this. I'm going to put that to the back behind our controlled territories. So I can, you know what, I'm going to set these on the table is what I'm going to do so I don't forget about them. And then I'm also going to set our nation card on the table. I will score those last, and as long as my cat doesn't knock them off the table, I don't trust him. We're going to do this differently. I'm going to put my controlled territories in the back again, and we're going to sandwich it between my 2 cards so that I remember they were controlled. Okay, and we're going to start at the top. So 2 points. So I'm going to be looking at these scoring rules over here. 2 points per action card, red card, at level 4. So that's 2, 4, 6. Not there. 6. So I will punch that in. And we're just going to go through these. 2 points per institution, gray card, at level 3+. So my cat really wants attention, so we'll see if he lets us get away with scoring here without giving him some attention. It's okay, buddy. At level 3+, so 2. Nope. Shucks, just 2 points from that. Okay. Hi, bud. 1 per 2 ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. That's good. So that's another 3 points. All right. 3 points per production card at level 3 plus. So yellow. So yellow cards at level 3 plus. There's 1, 2, 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. That's good. Okay. Straight up 4 points. One per 2 bag icon. 1. I don't think we have very many of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 more than I thought, so we get 5 from that. Seven if theocracy. We are not. Straight up 3 points. Oops, sorry about that. 2 per production card at level 4, so level 4 yellow cards. Just 1. So that's 2 points. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be very good score. 1 per blue banner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not bad. One per plant icon. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. 6. That's not bad either. Alright. Getting through this pretty quickly here. 1 per 3 sword icon. That's 3. 4, 5, 6,